Okay, everybody, looks like we're live once again. Sorry about the balls up before. I'm going to delete it off YouTube, so you'll probably never see it. But for anyone who's just seen my first attempt at ever doing a Hangout, a bit of a disaster. So don't take any notice on that. So we're starting again, take 2. This is Challenge Your Reality. My name's Mike Shearer, and this is take 2 because I completely stuffed up the first one. I was trying to use a different camera on my MacBook Pro, but it just doesn't seem to like it. So I've gone back to, sorry, itchy nose, gone back to using the built-in camera for now, just until I can figure out how to sort the camera out. It works on iMovie and Photo Booth, but it doesn't want to work on this. So I just have to find out how to change the default camera for live streaming. Anyway, let's get back to it. Now, where was I? This is my very first experience of doing a Hangout, as you have probably realised by now. I came across the idea when it seems to be more and more common now, and it's a good way to interact with your audience, customers, and whoever you want to talk with. So I was thinking about that, and I was also thinking about my podcast, because I have been doing a podcast up until last week. I tried to do it daily, but I got caught up in other things and missed a few days here and there. And then I decided in the new year that it was definitely going to be daily, changed the name, changed the logo and everything, and it was looking good. But I realized that I want to do a podcast, and I also want to do Hangouts. But I didn't want to repeat the content. I didn't want to do it twice, record it twice. And I had no idea what Hangouts were or how they worked. Well, I knew what they were, but I've been on them before, but I've never recorded one of my own, and I don't really know all the ins and outs and how they work. And I didn't realize until I started doing some research about how to do a Hangout that it's recorded as you do it. So therefore, you can convert that recording into a podcast simply by transferring the file into your podcast software. And in my case, I use Audacity. There's a couple of other ones around, but Audacity is the one I use. And when I do that, when I import the file into Audacity, it automatically converts the MP4 file into MP3 by stripping out the video content, and voila, suddenly you've got a podcast. So that's what I wanted to achieve, and I was surprised at how easy it was. I don't know whether it's my generation. I just expect everything to be hard, or I'm not completely up to date with all the latest technology and what's going on out there, but it's just moving so fast. It's honestly is difficult to keep up with. So I found it. I've achieved it. I'm doing it. So that's why I'm doing this. So I also wanted to explain who I'm doing this for, and it's for people who've been online for some time and haven't had the breakthrough, haven't succeeded. For people who may have been in 2, 3, 4, 5 different business opportunities over a number of years and still haven't cracked the code and still don't know how to do it, or you have found out how to do it and you understand how to do it, but you've run out of money, because at the end of the day, the easiest way to get traffic and to do online marketing is to buy the traffic, paid traffic. And it's as simple as that. And if you've got the money and you know what you're doing, and you put the money into the places that are going to generate you the best result, then you're away laughing. But for people like me, and this is like me, I've been doing this for 5 years and haven't achieved anything yet, except a lot of learning. I've done a lot of training, done a lot of courses, bounced from one BizOp to another, learned a lot of stuff, still haven't achieved anything. So this is who the podcast's for, because I've now worked it out. I still don't have any money to do marketing, but I have figured it out, and I found a way to do it. It's not even public yet. It won't be going public until a couple of hours from now. What are we now? Coming up 1 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon here in New Zealand, and in 2 hours' time, 3 o'clock here, but it'll be 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the States. Yesterday, the 2nd of February, a new system is being released where you can get as much traffic as you ever wanted and make some headway, make a difference, finally make your online business work for very little or no money at all. The guy who's thought this thing up and who's been doing it himself over the last 2 years has never spent more than $150 a month on marketing, and he doesn't even need to spend that. It's all free traffic that he's been able to get through the way he does it. Now, I don't know any more about it than that, so I can't tell you until 9 o'clock Eastern tonight, on the 2nd of February, for those of you who will be watching the recording of this, because I very much doubt with anyone who will be watching this live. 9 o'clock Eastern on February the 2nd, 2015, this program is going to be released and will be released for those of you who are watching this in the future. And I'll tell you more about that very shortly. But first of all, I just wanted to give you a little bit of background. Now, if I could just get my bit of paper here. I did make some notes. One of the things I realized when I decided to do this, and I'm going to have to get prepared and have an outline of how I'm going to do this, because when I did podcasts, I just talked. And if I stuffed it up, I could edit it later. But of course, this is live broadcast, so you can't edit it as you go. So I thought, better make some notes and better just have a bit of an outline of what I want to talk about. I'm a bit of a, I can talk forever if you let me. So I'm going to try not to make this too confusing for you, but I've explained why I wanted to do this. I'm basically a lazy person, wanted to get the video and the podcast together. I've found out how to do that, so that's easy. I've now made some notes. I'm referring to them now, and the next step is make some notes. Now, I've read that bit. Right, I just want to say we're in 2015 now, and we're already into February. 1 month is gone. You've only got 11 months left, and if you're like me, you still haven't got cracking. You still haven't made an effort and started making money online. Now, I know it's been holidays, and a lot of people didn't even get back to work till last week, lawyers and accountants and those people who think they're clever enough. A lot of people still at the beach, still on holiday. So, yeah, just forget it. It's gone. It's past that. But it's time to knuckle down. And if you want to do this, it's time to do it. Now, the title of this was called, What Do You Want? And I don't think any of us have really sat down, or any of you have really sat down and asked yourself the question, what is it that you really want? Do you really want to, do you really understand what it is you want? It's very easy to say you want money. It's very easy to say you want a nice car. You don't want a flash car. You just want something that's reliable and new, get you from A to B. You want a nice house to live in. You want to provide for your family. And you want to pay off your mortgage, and you want to have some money to give you a bit of time freedom and financial freedom, right? Everyone wants that, I think. If you're entrepreneurially minded, you have a responsibility to your family and to yourself, and have a good life, then of course that's what you want. And what it comes down to is one word, and that's lifestyle. You want a lifestyle. It's not the lifestyle that's forced on you by your job or by your circumstances or by society or the community or anyone else. It's a lifestyle that you design for yourself, where you can do what you want, when you want, with the people that you want, those that you love, and you're in total control. That's what I mean by lifestyle. Now, I don't care what sort of lifestyle that means for you, but that's what it means for me. It's being able to do what I want, when I want, where I want, and who I want to do it with, and how. The only way that you can achieve that is by having money. And the very first thing that you've got to put out of your head is that money is the be all and end all, because it's not. It's not about the money. You need the money to get you to a point where you can enjoy that lifestyle. I know it's confusing, but that's what it's all about. It's not about having lots of money and lots of riches and wandering around telling everybody how much money you've got and giving it away, or having it hanging out of your pocket, as I see some people do, just to show off or just to appear rich. It's not about that. If that's the lifestyle you want, then fine, go for it. But you can't do it without money. Having money gives you the tools to do what it is that you want. So therefore, I come back to the question, what the hell do you want? Now, before a lot of you can answer that question, you have to ask the question of, who am I? Am I defined by my job? Am I defined by my circumstances? Am I defined by those around me and those that tell me what to do, when to do it? Your boss, your work colleagues, your office, your routine every day. Is that what defines you? Because it shouldn't. And it's wrong to think that it does. You have to define yourself by looking inside and asking yourself the question, who am I? And I said right at the start that this, I'm going to itch your head. I said right at the start that this podcast was for people who have got to the middle-age crisis, or you maybe got to the stage where half your life is gone. You've realised that it's half gone. It's less than half to go. You're going to be dead in 30 years, 40 years maybe. It's gone. So you can't do anything about that. There's no point in dwelling over it. But what you have got is a lifetime's worth up until now of experience and skills and things that you've made yourself. You've become a person because of the experiences that you've had. So that's how you define yourself. If you're my age, 56 years old, you'll have children and grandchildren. Now, I'm enormously proud of my children because of what they've achieved, and they've achieved it because of what I've been able to provide for them in terms of education and life skills and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, they've become amazing people. I'm also extremely proud of my grandchildren because they've benefited from the same thing that flows through families. And I'm not patting myself on the back so much, because I've got it from my father and his father before him, and my mother and her mother, and you know, the generations of your family, your ancestors made you the type of person you are, and gives you the outlook on life that you have based on the upbringing that you've had as a child and what life's thrown at you so far. Now, I just don't want to go any further than that, because I'll just make a mess of it, and I'll just talk for the sake of talking. But that's how I want you to define yourself. And therefore, once you know that, then ask yourself what it is you want, and then ultimately ask yourself why you want it. You've got to have a why. You've got to have a reason. There's no point trying to go and get all this money and make all this money, earn all this money, if you don't know the reason why, because quite simply, it won't happen. You won't achieve it. And that is the very reason that if you are like me, you've been doing this for years and haven't figured it out, that is the number one reason why, because you have not defined yourself, you don't know who you are, and you don't know why you're doing it. Okay? Right, let's get that out of the way. Taking me ages to get to that. But yeah, you do need to know that. You need to know the reason why you're doing stuff, why you want the money, not just for the sake of it. Okay? Now, the good news is, although you may have been trying this online business opportunity thing for years, like me, 5 years I've been going. It's 2009, into my 6th year now probably. I think I started in April 2009, so I'm coming up 6 years. Where was I? Oh yeah, if you're like me and you're in that boat, or you're brand new, haven't got a clue, you don't want to go down that road and suffer all the do all the learning and finding out all the mistakes that me and thousands of others have made. And it is thousands, in fact it's millions of people, because if you believe the statistics, 95% of all people who try online marketing fail. 95% of people who try any sorts of entrepreneurship fail in their first year. So if you're one of the 95%ers, which is just about damn near everyone who's ever tried this, then, you know, take comfort in that, because you're not alone. There's millions of us. The good news is that you haven't quit, so therefore you're not a failure. You will never be a failure unless you stop. Or if you've never started, and you've obviously started, so there you go. And for all the new people who might be watching, you've started, so you're not a failure either. Now that you've started, you cannot fail unless you quit. So you've got to this stage, you haven't quit. The good news is that you haven't. The good news is also that technology is getting so good, better and better and better, and making this thing easier and easier. And if you've had the experience of learning about online marketing, getting traffic, WordPress, blogging, podcasting, videos, Facebook marketing, solo ads, all that sort of stuff, and you know it all, but you can't make it work because you haven't got the upfront cash to get, like, to do solo ads. You need $1,000 easy, you know, before you just get anywhere. Even just to buy 100 clicks or 150, 200 clicks, you need $200, $250, and it virtually gets you nowhere. So you need $1,000 to just throw at it and say, right, here you go, $1,000 to the solo ad provider, and you might get 30, 40, 50 leads out of it, and then you're away. But understand, it's going to cost you a few more chunks of $1,000 to build up a decent mailing list and a decent database behind you before anyone's going to turn around and say, oh yeah, might want to buy something from this guy. Because people buy from people. People follow people. They don't necessarily follow and buy products for the sake of it. People buy from people. So you've got to be an authentic, real person like me, too lazy to even shave, that other people can relate to before they'll buy anything from you at all, no matter how good it is. Perhaps there's one thing that might be just good enough. But I'll get to that in a minute. Where was I? Looking through my notes. I think it's important at this stage where I tell you about my story. Those of you who've been following my podcast will already know, but just briefly, I started out life going to school, as everybody does. Finished school in New Zealand. Here we just have a primary school system, and then we go to a secondary school system, and then after that you go to tertiary school, which is university, polytechnics, colleges, that sort of thing. Anything tertiary after high school is all bundled in. So I came from a family where everybody went to university, got a degree of some sort. My mother and father both did. However, when I came along, there's more of a tendency for people to go into trades or trade-based tertiary education, polytechnics, technical institutes, doing mechanical or technical stuff, stuff that you can do with your hands. I chose that route because I was sick and tired of school. I wanted no more of it. I just saw no point in academia. I saw no point in learning a whole lot of shit that I didn't think I was ever going to do. Although I did see the value in learning and educating myself about something that I enjoyed and something that I liked and something I wanted to do. Now, I've always loved engineering. As a kid, I played in the sandpit and I made roads with my little car. I used to hack away at a dirt bank on the farm and make little roads and bridges and tunnels that I could drive my toys on. As a child, I was brought up on a dairy farm. I learnt about machinery from a very early age. I could drive a tractor, ride a motorbike by age 10. In fact, I was riding motorbikes when I was 8. Not very well, but that's when I started. I was helping my father drive tractors from about age 10 onwards, harvesting, making hay, silage, for those of you who know what silage is, doing other farm jobs with the tractor. Today it would be considered highly illegal and most improper because it would be seen as being dangerous and irresponsible. But back in the 60s, it wasn't. That's just what you did. You helped on the farm, and that's how you learned stuff. So I learned about mechanics from a very early age. My brother and I had a go-kart when we were 8, 9, 10 years old, and so we learned how to pull the engine to pieces because it wouldn't go fast enough. So we were forever pulling it to bits trying to make it go faster. Usually we just broke it and had to get a new one, but we learned as we went. So I wanted to be an engineer of some sort, and I liked making bridges and building things. So I chose to study civil engineering, and I was lucky enough to get into a government job where they paid for my education, which was the tertiary training. It was exactly the same as university-based training. Same stuff, same course, same curriculum, but I had a job at the same time that they paid me for. And so I learned the practical stuff as I went. So anyway, long story short, finished up being an engineer, but I quickly found that once I was qualified and I knew how to do all this stuff, all they wanted to do was stick me in an office and do design work, and I didn't want that. So I left, and my father gave me the opportunity to take over the family farm, the farm that was my grandfather's farm. He had learnt his trade on it. My father had learnt his trade on it, then went and bought his own farm. My grandfather had owned this farm. It was now in the family company because my grandfather passed away, and it had been run by managers and what we call share milkers, which are farmers who own their stock but they don't own the land, so they rent it and they share it, and then any income that's derived from the farming activity is divided down the middle, and half goes to the owner, half goes to the share milker. So This had been going on for 40 years, and the farm had become very run down, virtually uneconomic, unproductive. So I stuck my hand up and said, "Oh, I'll give it a go." My father was a bit wary because I've never really been good at sticking to anything in my life. Up to that stage, I was only 21, I think, when I made the decision. 22 when I moved to the farm. Dad did decide to give me a go, but it was under strict supervision in the first year. After that, proved that I could do it, and away we went. I became a share milker, bought my own stock, cows, machinery, everything I needed to run the farm. My father and the family still owned the land. Did that for 6 years till I got myself into the position to be able to buy the land from the family. Became a landowner and a farmer for the next 14 years after that. Unfortunately, it was a time of recession in the dairy industry, so nothing. I survived okay, but we couldn't get ahead. With a high level of debt, it was very hard to get ahead. Then came the marriage breakdown, the marriage failure, so that was the end of that. Jumping ahead a little while, I remarried. Was no longer in farming because I had to pay out all the money, all the equity was all gone. So I went into motel work, leasing a motel and owning a motel business. Worked really well. Did that for 13 years. During that time, I got bored with it. It was only small. My wife and I could run it with them. She could run it on her own with the help of some staff. And I didn't really like it particularly. So I went and bought another business, and it was a business servicing printers. So that was my first real taste of being in business other than farming, and it was a real shock because farmers tend to think they're businessmen and know what they're doing, but they don't, because they don't have to do any marketing. They don't have to sell their stuff. It just gets bought, whether they like it or not. And you get, you get rich or poor depending on how much you choose to produce. That's how our system works here. I know it's not the same in the rest of the world, but in this country it is. Anyway, eventually got to a stage where we ran out of money again in the accommodation business. The business was going well, but too heavily indebted. When we got to the 2007, 2008 financial crisis, it became very difficult. Struggled along until beginning of 2013. Then all the chickens came home to roost and the whole house of cards fell over, and it just became too difficult. So I had to walk away from that business. Also walked away from that marriage. There's lots of, long story short, but there were lots of things happened, and it just wasn't no longer going to work. I virtually made myself bankrupt by doing that because I just walked away from everything. Well, also walked away from the debt, but I had nothing left. I had enough money to rent a house, and I had an income because I have a disabled son. He's 25 years old now, requires full 24-hour care. So I thought, well, rather than pay other people to be the carers, I'll do it myself. So that's what I've been doing for the last 18 months and absolutely enjoy it. It gives me the freedom and the ability to do this sort of stuff. Because he goes away to an activity centre during the day for 6 hours, so I have 6 hours in the middle of the day. The rest of the time, I care for him and I get paid for it. I'm not going to bore you with the details in this video, but for those of you who've been following me on my podcasts or who are interested enough to go back and listen to the old podcasts, you can learn all about it there. And I'll, in future videos and podcasts, you'll catch on. Anyway, that's not the point. 5 years ago, I decided that internet marketing would be the way to go to help supplement the income. It wasn't, because I wasn't committed, I wasn't focused, and I began jumping from one business opportunity to another, to another, to another. I stuck with one there for a couple of years, thinking I could make it work, but I still didn't have the right mindset, the right attitude to make it work, and it didn't, of course. And just boxed on to where we are now, end of 2014, it suddenly dawned on me, you idiot. You can't chase the shiny objects. I know perfectly well that it's drummed into you if you're in any sort of business opportunity, don't chase a shiny object. Stick with one thing until you get it, and it starts making a lot of money for you. Then you can jump to something else if you want to, but be a success at one thing first before you start hopping to another thing. And I thought I was cleverer than that, better than that, and I thought I could do it, but you can't. You simply cannot. You must focus on just one thing. And that's the reason why my accommodation business went bung as well, because I was busy trying to run my printer servicing business, office machinery servicing business as it became, because I was prepared to fix anything, and I could. So I was traveling all over the countryside fixing machines that weren't even related to printers, like mailing machines and payroll machines and all sorts of machinery, office machinery, while at the same time trying to run an accommodation business and have managers doing it for me. It does not work. If you put your hands, if you put your fate in the hands of other people to provide your income, it's not gonna work. You've got to be in charge and be in control. You've got to have focus. Now, I listened to a podcast called Entrepreneur on Fire. Look it up. Very, very good. One of the most popular podcasts on the net these days. And John Dermis, who runs it, has an acronym for focus, and it is follow one course until success. Follow one course until success. And that's what you have to do, and that's what focus means. Now, for those of you who are like me and have spent ages and years doing different things and not getting anywhere, there's something new. There's something new around. With the huge influx of online entrepreneurs these days, particularly in the last 5 years, systems have been invented, been developed, become more automated, become better. We've got fast internet nowadays. We've got good video. We've got good audio. We've got automation now that was unheard of even 12 months ago. While I don't want to go into lots of detail about what's happening in the online marketing world now, because that will all become apparent to you if you just keep going like you have been, I imagine. There's now a different approach to online business, which brings into account the changes of attitudes, the changes of the attitudes of the people who are now online. It's probably been noticeable to you and to everyone out there who wants to know something, that you no longer go to a dictionary to look up a word. You no longer go to an encyclopedia book to find out something about something. You no longer go to the yellow pages to find a phone number to call someone. You just go online. And most of us, 95% I think it is, go to Google. People go to Google so often now that it's become a verb. If you want to know something, you go and Google it, or you go and look it up on Google, or you go and ask Google, or you ask Siri, or you Google something. It's just become generic. It doesn't matter whether you go onto Bing or to Yahoo or to Ask.com or whatever. You're still Googling it, because that's just the way it's become. That's what Google has done to us, what it's made us into. So if you want to know anything about anyone at any time, or anything about anything, you just go to Google, type it in, type in a search query. You don't even have to, if you've got Google Chrome on your computer, you don't even have to go to the search box. You just type it in the address bar up here, up the top, and it goes straight to what you're asking for. And you can type in as many words as you like. Once upon a time, if you wanted to find something out on Google or search on Google, you have to think of a phrase, the title of what you wanted plus something else, and Google the search engine would go off and find it. But now you just type in like you're talking to the damn thing. How do I do a Hangout? Type it in, and it just bang, just comes up, and there's all these different people trying to teach you how to do Hangouts. It's great. How do you do anything? How do you pump up a ball? How do you paint a house? How do you lay carpet? How do you cook? How do you do anything? Type in the question into your address bar on Google Chrome or into a search box, and bang, there it is. There's the answer. It's so fast that you can be watching a quiz program on the television, and if there's a question you don't know, you just quickly go to Google on your phone and you can get the answer before the contestant on the TV's got the answer, and you think you're clever because you know everything. That's how fast it is. So bearing that in mind, there's new technology now that can take advantage of that to help you in your online business, and that is online shopping. It's only been a few years where online shopping has become accessible to everybody, and it's really only in the last 12 months that it's become commonplace. So if you're going to go to Google to find something out, why not go to Google to buy something? Why not go to the internet to buy something? You can buy anything online. Just think of eBay. In New Zealand here we have a thing called Trade Me. It's like eBay but smaller. Amazon.com. You can buy just about anything, and you can or hire it. You can buy books, motorcycles, cars, houses. I've been looking for a motorcycle helmet, and last night I couldn't find the one I wanted in New Zealand, so I just went onto eBay, and there's thousands of them, and they're cheap, well, cheaper than they are here anyway. So that's what you do. If you want to buy something, you go online. So there's this thing called Doobly. It's an online shopping mall. It's a worldwide online shopping mall. If you're in the United States, you've got your own United States shopping mall. If you're in Europe, you've got your own European shopping mall. If you're in Japan or if you're in Dubai, it's very big in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates. If you're in India, huge in India, massive, billions of people use the damn thing. They've got their own shopping mall. For the rest, Australia's got one too. For the rest of the world, though, they have what's called this worldwide mall, which is sort of like a mixture of all of them. Not really, but it's not as good as the other malls, but it's getting better and better. So, but the point is, you can buy stuff online, and you can buy your groceries online at your local supermarket now, can't you? You just go online, order what you want. A couple of hours later, the van turns up and Bob's your uncle. It gets delivered to your door. A refrigerator truck, mind you. It's exactly like buying it from the refrigerator, from the supermarket, all packaged up for you. All you have to do is put it away. That's the worst job, actually. But anyway, it's all you have to do. So why not buy other stuff? And the thing about Doobly, which makes it so attractive, is that they give you cash back. They pay you to buy them. Now, you can sign up to Doobly for free as a free customer and start getting cash back right now. Just go to, what do you do? Go to doobly.com. Just type it DUBLI.com and you're in. And away you go. You're a free customer, and that's it. You just start buying stuff. And you'll notice that they offer, for $99, you can upgrade your membership to a VIP membership, which means that for $99 a year, which is not a lot, is it? You can get even bigger cashback percentages. And over a year, the average person apparently spends about $800 US dollars in a year. And the cashback they get's around, what they spend, the cashback is around $800 a year that they get back on what they spend. That's an average, could be less, could be more. Just an income disclaimer here. I'm not guaranteeing you'll make any money or you'll get any money back from Doobly, because obviously you won't if you don't use it. If you don't buy anything, you won't get any cash back. But if you buy something, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be a $3 toothbrush, and you will get a cashback percentage into your account. So that's the way the world is going, and it's just so easy to go online now. Anyone with fast internet, click, 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 you're on. There's no lag, there's no waiting, there's no mucking around. You can just go and buy stuff. So why not? Why not get into it? Why not do it? Now, just excuse me for a minute. I just lost track of where I'm going here. The beauty of it, if you're involved in Doobly and if you refer someone else, if you're a customer and you refer someone else, if you're a VIP customer and you refer someone else, then you get a cut as well. You get 20% of whatever they buy. So it mounts up. So it's worth doing, and it's worth referring other people because you make money all along down the line. The beauty is that people are buying stuff that they were going to buy anyway. So why not refer them to Doobly, where they get a benefit from buying that thing, and you get a benefit from referring them. It's not as if you're trying to push someone into buying lotions and potions in some multi-level marketing company. It's not like you're trying to force them into paying paying money to buy other, like what is it, Amway products that they have to get shipped to them. It's stuff that they wouldn't normally buy. You're trying to force them to buy stuff extra. And if they're on a budget, if they've got no money, like you and me particularly, you're not going to buy that stuff, are you? Extra. But if you have to buy something, if you have to buy a new big screen TV because your kids are, screaming the house down, if you have to buy some furniture, if you have to buy a household appliance, a new washing machine, it happens. They break down. A new clothes dryer, tumble dryer, they break down. You have to buy a new one. You may as well buy it online. Get the cash back, and you get a little bit of benefit for yourself. So it's stuff you're going to buy anyway. Women buy makeup, cosmetics all the time, don't they? A lot of them do. If they can afford it, they will go. They'll go to the local store and they'll buy it. They can buy it online, get it delivered. They don't have to leave the house if they don't want to. Well, I know part of the attraction of going shopping is actually going and doing the shopping. But if you buy stuff online, you're going to buy it anyway. The point I'm trying to make is that the stuff you buy online is exactly the same stuff and the same money that you would be spending anyway. So why not? Okay. Doesn't have to be everything. Travel's a big one. If you're buying travel, you can't just waltz down to the shops and buy a travel account. I mean, you can, but it's a bit of a performance. You've got to go to a travel agent. They take their cut. So you're paying more. You never get what you want exactly, unless you're just going somewhere and you just want a hotel room. But you wouldn't go to a travel agent just to book a hotel room. Where do you go? Online, don't you? Or you pick up the phone and you ring up the hotel and book it. Well, why not do it online and get money back for doing it? Get cash back, get 10% back, up 14, 15% back in some places. The cashback percentages, by the way, go up higher than that. Not sure how high they go on certain items. I've seen it on some items up to 19%. You can buy Apple computers like this one, 7%, I think. If you're a VIP customer, 7% off. Well, that's a big dollop of money when you're forking out close to $2,000 on a MacBook Pro like this. So think about it. And it's money you'd only be giving to the local Apple store owner down the road because he's got to make money to run his shop. So you may as well take his margin for yourself by buying it online. So you get the picture. I don't know whether you get the picture or not, but when you get the picture, you'll realize, you'll figure it out, and you'll think, gosh, should have been doing this years ago. But you couldn't because it wasn't available. But it is now, and particularly in America. Doobly will stop at nothing to market this thing and get it every American there is buying online. That's their aim, I believe. Well, that was in here. Put my notes on top of the other keyboard and I didn't like it. I better not do that again. Hang on, I'm just going to make a bit of room here. So much mess everywhere. Right. So that's Doobly. That now, once you get it, you understand what the difference is. I've just explained that people are going to spend their own money and buy anyway. Then all you do is just tap into that, and you can become a business partner. But all that will become apparent when you just make the decision that you want to be involved in Doobly. Then let me know, and I'll give you the links. The referral links will be to the getting into the business will be on the show notes of the podcast. I don't know how to do it on here, so I'll just you're going to have to go. Oh, I know where it'll be. It'll be underneath the video. That's where I'll put it. Yeah, but so that explains how watch. That link will take you to a video, and then that will explain exactly how it works if you're interested. All I'm doing at the moment is trying to get the idea in your head that it's out there, and you may as well be a part of it, because it's completely different from any other online type of business that's ever been around before, simply because of technology and the rest. I'm guessing that if you're watching this, you're like me, and I've been alluding to it all the way through. You've lost focus. You've been jumping from one thing to another, to another, to another, or you just don't even know what focus is. You've got to have focus. Follow one course until success. You've got to have that focus. Second thing is, you're always looking for an easy way to do things. And I'm assuming you're a bit like me. You see how hard it is. You see how hard online marketing is, and you do have to do work. Nothing's going to be that easy. You do have to do work, but I'm always looking for something that's going to make it that little bit easier. And so you procrastinate. You go from one thing to another, keep looking for these different marketing systems and new ways of doing things. So you never get anywhere, again, because you're not focused. Because of all this jumping around and what you've been doing, you've run out of money. You've got no credit. Your credit card's maxed out. I've got 4 of them. They're all maxed out. We're buggered. I can't do it. I can only rely on my weekly income I get from my caregiving agency that pays me to look after my son. And that's not a huge amount. So there's got to be an easier way, doesn't there? There's got to be another way. Everyone knows what the free marketing things are. There's Facebook. There's blogging. There's podcasting. And if you persist for long enough, you'll probably get there. You might not. I did blogging for over a year and didn't achieve a damn thing. And without going into the reasons why, I understand the reasons why now, but I didn't then. So that's something that you need to bear in mind. It takes time. So you're either sacrificing money to pay for paid advertising, paid marketing, or you're sacrificing your time. And you can value that however you like. But it's still got a value. There's an opportunity cost of marketing, like it or not. It's either your time or your money, one or the other. You can't have both. So if it's going to be a time, you want to leverage it. And finally, after all these years of playing around, I've got to know several people online in the various industries I've been looking at and been involved in. The same names keep coming up, and you tend to gravitate towards the same people or the people that you like or you know and trust. And in this case, there's a handful of them. There's actually 5 of them only. I don't know the 5th one, but I know 4 of them. John Lavinia, Tony Rush, Christian Henneke, and Randy Schrum. They are guys that I've been following on Facebook and various other things online for a while. Tony Rush, I've been following him since he started in Power Network in 2011. Same time I joined. He did really well. I did nothing. Christian Henneke, he started online 2 years ago because he was desperate. He had to. And so he's figured out a lot of stuff and he's worked damn hard and become and he's now making 7 figures. He had his first 7-figure year, 2014. Randy Schrum, haven't known him that long, but I know that if he's got involved with these other guys, he's got to be a good bloke. And they've got a technical guy whom I met last year who was working with Christian doing another project, and I know and trust him as well. So that's my focus. And these 5 guys have got together and they've come up with this thing called Home Business Labs. It's a marketing system for Doobly. Because when Doobly started in the States in August last year, there was no marketing around it. It just arrived. It was just there. And they were wanting people to promote it and market and push it. A group of people got together and said, yeah, we can make a lot of money out of this. And they did. And they said, we can make a system to do this. Well, they've been making the system and building the system for months, and it's still not finished. It's still not working. And it's just what's happened is the intelligent and innovative guys have gone out and done their own thing. These 5 guys have got together because they're frustrated with waiting, and they've put together their own marketing platform just for Doobly, and it's called Home Business Labs, and you can find it at homebusinesslabs.com. Again, I'll have a link you can click somewhere. Not sure where, but I presume I'll be able to put it under this video somewhere. It'll definitely be in my podcast notes and on my website, challengeyourreality.com. So if you go there, you'll definitely find it. The links to click, challengeyourreality.com. That's my website. And very soon, an hour and a half from now, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 2nd of February 2014, they are announcing something, a marketing method that's never been done on the internet before and set to take the internet by storm. I've got no idea what it is. That's just what I've been told. And I'm waiting till 9 o'clock to find out what it is. And for those of you who are going to be watching this sometime in the future from now, join Home Business Labs, homebusinesslabs.com. And I prefer if you use my link because then I get the referral. It's free. I just get you on my list. That's all. I don't get any money out of it. It's free to join up, and it's a system for doing Doobly, for marketing Doobly. So I've explained to you what Doobly's about roughly. You can go and click the link wherever it is on this video below or wherever, that will take you to the video to show you exactly what it's all about. And then you can go to Home Business Labs and see what this marketing thing is all about as well. So that's what I wanted to get to you today. And that's what I'm now focusing on. That is my thing. Every now and again, I'll be doing videos and podcasts, throwing in a bit of personal growth, personal development type stuff, things that you need to get your head around. I've covered it all before on my previous 111 podcasts or whatever it is I've done. But I'll be referring back to it again over time, just until you get the message. It's that important. If you want to be in online marketing, there's some fundamental things you have to understand. You got to know who you are, why you're doing it, and what the hell you want. Get that stuff sorted, and you'll be away. Thanks very much for watching. This is Mike Shearer, my name is, if I didn't tell you that before. Don't know whether I did. And you'll see me around. You can go to my video channel. Or go to YouTube. You'll find me. Just type in Mike Shearer. Good luck with spelling Shearer. It's spelled S-C-H-E-R-E-R, S-C-H-E-R-E-R. You can look me up on Google. You can go to challengeyourreality.com. If you're in New Zealand and Australia, challengeyourreality.co.nz will get you to the same place. What else can I tell you? That's all my self-promotion for now. I'm going to call it a day. Thanks very much. Looking forward to the next hour and a half for this big announcement that's coming out. And then once it's done, once it's been announced, and I'll get my head around it and understand what it is, I'll do another video probably tomorrow and try and get you to help you to understand it. Any questions, just ask. You can email me. All my contact details are on the website, on the contact page, challengeyourreality.com/contact. You can ring me, you can Skype me, you can email me, and yeah, anything you like, really. Just ask a question, and I'll be happy to answer it. So that's that being said, as they say, I'll see you next time. Bye now.